Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are reacting to Film Theory, How to Freeze Elsa, Disney Frozen 2 by the Film Theory. So, I don't know if there's gonna be any spoilers, but if there is, I'm still gonna react to it because I haven't watched Disney Frozen 2. So, in 3, 2, 1, let's react.
So, punk, where's Queen Elsa? You were the last ice block she made, so now it's time to talk. Playing it cool, huh? Well, we have ways of getting you to sweat.
Arch Nemesis.
Ha! Now you're feeling the heat, so I ask you again. Where is Elsa?
Well, we got some notes there.
What'd he say? Nothing. Turns out water doesn't have a memory. Or a voice. Or honestly, anything that helps us solve this case. It is literally just water.
It's more than water or ice. That's a whole different thing into it.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, where it's January, and that means it's time to YouTube and chill. Since it's too warm in Southern California to build a snowman, whether I wanna or not, I have to find other ways to celebrate this time of year, so I'm cranking out a sequel of my own on Frozen 2. Just as silly, but somehow less of a cash grab than Disney's version. Yes, I am ready to break the ice to talk about the most anticipated animated sequel of all time, with the most blatantly merchandisable costume changes in Disney history. And in case you're wondering, yes, there will be spoilers. So if you don't want to hear the ending, you're gonna want to put this video on ice and go watch the movie already.
I'm gonna watch the movie. I'm not gonna watch the movie, so it's all good. Because I'm probably never gonna watch the movie. Or if it goes on Netflix. Because if it goes on Netflix, I'm gonna watch the movie. But if it doesn't go on Netflix, then I'm not watching the movie.
Ready. Or, in other words,
So
go get it over with. Now, despite the opening of this video, I'm not actually going to talk about the big theme of this movie, which is water having memory. That's actually a theory for another day. No, instead today, I'm actually turning back to Frozen 1 to address the famous adage from Elsa.
The cold never bothered me anyway.
Tops and silk organza gowns that are easy to mass produce for the children of the world. In one of her most famous lines from the most famous song of the movie, Elsa lets us all know that part of her power set is that she's impervious to how cold her ice castle is. Not only that, but she walks around in the snow and has a gown with a very chilly looking neckline, but it doesn't seem to matter because none of it can affect her. Seems like a very clearly defined power set. I can respect that. And then you fast forward to Frozen 2 where they throw all of it out the window. In Frozen 2, we have this massive climactic moment near the end of the movie where we see Elsa freeze solid. What? We just went over how Elsa can't be hurt from the cold, how she's literally swimming in the Arctic Ocean and walking around in this permafrost forest for days.
And now she just freezes. Did she die? I don't know. But I'm guessing she died because if you don't freeze to death, you're dead.
A jacket that's perfect for your next trip to Walt Disneyland, by the way. And when we see her defeated, it's by freezing her to death. Not only is it a blatant ripoff of the climax of the last movie where...
Oh yeah, that freezing to death. There's a lot of freezing to death people that freeze to death here. So, Elsa died, and there's not gonna be any Frozen 3 because Elsa died. I don't know.
Anna froze to death, but it just doesn't make sense with Elsa's power set. The cold doesn't bother her. So you know what? The question I, as a theorist watching this movie, have today, well, there are just so many questions, but the question I want to ask today is this. How cold does it have to be to bother Elsa? Clearly, she's not immune to freezing, so what temperature does she freeze at? What is actually going on in this scene? Where is the
I actually don't know how Matt Pettis gonna be able to do this, but it's one of these videos that I actually don't know what's going on, and how does Matt Pat solve this? I don't know, but let's see.
That we get ourselves a nice Elsa-cole. Now, in case you didn't feed the beast of the Disney sequel machine, or your memory of this movie is foggy, or you just checked out after the words North Uldra and Atohallan were repeated like 47 times in this movie for...
What, North Uldra and Thalian? What? Thalin? What is that?
4-year-olds, Elsa winds up in this chilly little predicament after embarking on a quest at the behest of, well, almost nothing. Some spirits who are whispering to her or something, and almost killing her entire kingdom, but they're not the same spirits who are trapped in the misty wood. It's super confusing, really inconsistent, and not that well written, okay? I gotta get that off my chest. Anyway, she journeys around the north to claim her place as the ultimate Ice Queen. She abandons her sister, who clearly has PTSD from the last movie and is angry about being left alone on this journey, which is a plotline that never gets resolved. Fantastic. She rides a horse mermaid hybrid up to the North Country and forgets about Kristoff along with the rest of the cast and crew of this movie, who is left.
Why does she look like someone else than Elsa? She looks like Rapunzel. I don't know why, but I'm sorry, I'm just getting my things mixed up. But she looks kind of like another person. Another Disney princess. But I can't get my head around it. Well, who does she look like? She does not. She looks like Elsa, but different. You know? She looks like a face swap of Elsa and another person, another Disney princess.
Alone to sing an 80s inspired power ballad. The real theory here is whether Disney knew how badly put together this movie was, but I really don't need to get myself started on that. Long story short, what you need to know for this theory is by the end of the movie, Elsa finds herself in the North Country in a dark, mysterious ice cave of self-discovery. She falls a long distance into it. That's it. She freezes. Eventually, she gets thawed by the power of who even cares anymore.
Okay, she doesn't die. Because if she dies, there's not going to be any Frozen 3 anymore. It's done.
Pretend for the sake of this theory that they were trying to make a movie with logical cohesion and address how the heck a literal ice queen could possibly freeze to death. Is there an actual scientific explanation here, or was someone just banking on a little too much Disney magic? If we're trying to figure out how chilling it needs to be for Elsa to freeze, we need to get some perspective on temperatures that we're dealing with throughout these movies. We know that Elsa has no problem surviving the cold in the movie's two primary settings, Arendelle and the Northern Forest, as well as most of the other time that she spends in the Northern Sea and Atohalan. How cold are these places, and how much colder is it when Elsa actually winds up freezing? Arendelle, as you might already know, is a cross between Arendal and Bergen in Norway. Arendal for its namesake, and Bergen for its architecture and scenery. We discussed this in our previous little Frozen theory about the fact that Anna and Elsa shouldn't be biological sisters, which, in case you're interested, you can catch up on here if you missed it. Since
I already reacted to that, and that was one of my first videos on YouTube, or is it the first film theory that I ever reacted to on YouTube? Because I know it's one of the first videos I've ever uploaded, and one of the first game series / film theory reaction videos. I'm pretty sure that's the first film theory reaction video that I ever did. I'm not gonna put the link in the description because I just said it, or the I thing, there. I'm confused, but I'm not gonna put that in because it's probably not.
It's that theory Disney.
Actually, it is. So I'm not gonna link it. Just find it if you're interested.
Disney's released more information about Arendelle, including a map shown in Frozen Fever, which we can then cross-reference with the geography of Norway. Since the only real feature here is the forked rivers, I searched for similar geographic areas in Norway and found Ålesund, an area that lined up almost perfectly with a little map manipulation. The historic highs and lows for Ålesund in the fall, which is when the movie begins, is 7.7 to 12.2.
7.7 to 12.2 degrees Celsius. That might not be crazy for the people in Norway or in the countries that are very cold, but that seems like I can't live in there because this has in the Philippines it's like 30 degrees Celsius normally. So I'm not gonna. It seems like it's impossible to live there, but it is possible because it's a town.
Degrees Celsius, or 46 to 54 degrees Fahrenheit, which gives us our parallels to Arendelle. Interestingly, Ålesund doesn't get very cold. Even in the winter, the highs and lows tend to hover just above freezing, meaning that Elsa's winter wonderland in Frozen 1 would have been much colder than the geographic norm. Additionally, we know North Uldra, the enchanted forest, is within a day or two wagon ride from Arendelle, so we're likely looking at the same temperature averages there as well, with maybe a degree or two of difference. None of the people living there seem to be keeling over from frostbite, so Elsa can just survive survive there like everyone else. So with those two out of the way, we can actually focus on the more northern locations of the movie, the North Sea and Atohallen. As Elsa journeys north, again after abandoning her sister in the middle of nowhere, we reach a point where, according to the Frozen Fever map, she runs into the Nordsøen, which is Danish for North Sea. Now, the closest body of water north of Norway on a real-world map is the Norwegian Sea. Interestingly, the name of the Norwegian Sea roughly translates to Sea of the North, so it's a fair stand-in. A bit of research will tell you that the Norwegian Sea, especially the areas close to the coastline that we're dealing with, all which is not exactly 0.9 degrees Celsius, or this body of water north of Norway on a real-world map is the Norwegian Sea. Interestingly, the name of the Norwegian Sea roughly translates to Sea of the North, so it's a fair stand-in. A bit of research will tell you that the Norwegian Sea, especially the areas close to the coastline that we're dealing with, all max out at about 5.9 degrees Celsius, or 40.8 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not exactly prime surfing temperature.
That is very, very cold.
Yearly minimums of 1.3 degrees Celsius or
1.3 degrees Celsius on a sea. Now that's very, very cold.
2 degrees Fahrenheit are reported. So waters that are just barely above freezing, making this some seriously cold water and easily enough to kill a normal person in a matter of minutes. Interestingly, Elsa's ability to survive in the cold water is perhaps more impressive than her ability to survive in icy castles on dry. 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius can trigger what's known as a cold shock response, which is the same response you get if your shower suddenly runs cold. You gasp from surprise as a reflexive part of the response, but if you're in a freezing ocean, the gas forces water down into your lungs. Your limbs are suddenly stunned from the shock of the cold, and you drown almost immediately. If that's not scary enough, or you manage to avoid the cold shock response, you're still not in for a good time. Even if you're in control of your body to begin with, you lose control of your limbs in about 10 minutes at water 50 degrees or lower, and
hypothermia. You lose your body control, you lose your limb control in 10 minutes. So yeah, a normal person can't fall into the Norwegian Sea and just, be okay.
Hypothermia, your internal body temperature dropping below 95 degrees, sets in under an hour, even in the best possible conditions. So for Elsa to survive even minutes in the North Sea waters, she would have had to have been wearing the equivalent of several immersion water survival suits, these big old rubbery looking things. This means that in water where other people are literally paralyzed and where body temperatures would drop below survivability in a matter of minutes, Elsa's maintaining a normal internal body temperature and ice surfing with the best of them. It is unbelievable, but it doesn't freeze her. That said, we do have one final location to consider. Atohallen is the glacier island that Elsa rides to in what seems like a few minutes from Northuldra. Well, initially I wanted to say that this was intended to be Iceland, since the crew from Frozen 2 visited Iceland for geographic inspiration on the movie. It's just too far north. Honestly, the closest coast of Iceland is about 900 miles from Ålesund, or any part of the Norwegian coast, which would take a horse, even a magic water horse, like 40 hours of straight running at top speed with no rest. To make our movie travel more realistic, I chose the small island of, can't pronounce those letters, just off the north coast of Norway. There's also possibilities like Bear Island up here, but they all function basically about the same, so just loop them all in as potential Atohallen stand-ins. Interestingly, all these types of islands tend to have sub-zero temperatures at least 9 months out of the year, meaning that when Elsa likely lands in Atohallen, the temperature is going to cause water to freeze directly onto her skin immediately. On top of that, she's facing ocean winds, which will give her a wind chill effect, making it feel even colder for her. Starting at -5 degrees Celsius, the average temperature for unpronounceable Norwegian island in November, we can calculate wind chills for 10 to 30 miles per hour, or 16 to 48 kilometers per hour. At these winds, Elsa's feel-like temperature is going to be about -10 degrees Celsius to -15 degrees Celsius, or 12 degrees Fahrenheit to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Even then, there's not even a shiver, so we know even at temperatures significantly below freezing, it is still not cold enough to bother her. So geez, how cold does it need to be? For me, this seemed like a research dead end, since we can't even guess about the temperature in the magic cave she's in, how far she's falling, things like that. Heck, inside the cave, it probably should be warmer because she's not subjected to being wet in the wind. That said, there is one thing that we can still speculate about. Elsa herself. What if, instead of looking at the air around her, the water that she's impossibly swimming through, all of that stuff, what if we stop comparing her to the way that humans freeze and stop assuming that she's human at all. Instead of assuming that her body functions like a normal person's body, it might make more sense to assume that it functions like the element that she's associated with, ice. Let's take a look at the moment that Elsa freezes again. We see her jump into the ice chasm to follow her past. She falls for a couple of seconds, and we see her make a quick landing on her hands and fingertips, like this. A moment later, she hears the truth about what terrible imperialists her people were. We see her start to freeze again at her fingertips and toes, where she landed. Interestingly, it may be the only scientifically accurate part of this movie, Elsa is freezing like ice. To better explain what I mean here and what's actually happening to Elsa and how her body functions, I'm gonna need to flip it to live action. Hey, film theorists! Matt Pat here. Might not look like it because I have less hair up here.
Yeah, less hair and more hair on the face, but less hair right there. He shaved his head, as probably a lot of people know, and then this, I don't know what happened to this beard slash mustache part over there.
More hair down here, but don't worry. That's what happens when you do a charity live stream and put your hair on the line. I'll be back to my old self in like T-minus 3 months, who knows. Anyway, let's do some real world science, shall we? Back in high school, because, you know, this is not child-directed content, only 13 and up here on this channel, you may have done yourself a little experiment in the realm of supercooling. Now, there are lots of YouTube videos out there on this, but I didn't feel like trying to license those because they're expensive, and doing science myself is really fun and cool. So anyway, supercooling is just one of those really nerdy things that's fascinating to talk about and even more fascinating to watch in person. And frankly, I just kind of want to try it here, since I have the ability and people to film me doing this sort of stuff, so why not take advantage of that?
The first time that we saw a science experiment on the film theorist channel. So this is gonna be very interesting.
This is also one of those rare things on YouTube that you can actually do yourself. It might take a couple of times to get it right, but the idea is to cool a bottle of water. I'm gonna go get the bottle.
Oh, I've heard of this, and when you shake it, I'm pretty sure this is what. And you put it in the freezer for like a limited amount of time on a temperature that is supposed to be. When you shake it, it just freezes. And it takes you a couple of times to do it right, but when you do it right, it's satisfying. It's on the r/oddly
my microphone and then get the bottle. Oh, and it's taped into my jacket.
Hashtag bad plan.
Chris is gonna go get the bottle of water. Thank you, Chris. Hopefully super chilled, ready to be crystallized. Now,
yeah, I've seen this before, but if you haven't and you're just living under a rock, this is what it is.
The things that you gotta note here are the water, first and foremost, needs to be clean, and it needs to be left very still. Now, this is because in a freezer, water will actually cool below freezing temperatures after a couple hours, but still have a magic area where it stays in a liquid state, because it doesn't have what's called a seed crystal. Just couple of crystal structures in the water that ice can form onto. Now, there's a lot of complicated math that goes behind seed crystals, but for our purposes, we're going to think about Elsa in Frozen 2 as our little bottle of water here. Probably could have cut out a face and stuck it on here, right? Little Adele action figure here. She looks human, right? But in the movie, because she represents the ice element, at a molecular level, her body is actually behaving more like freezing water than it does a person. Now, when Elsa falls down in that ice cave and hits the bottom, we suddenly see her whole body crystallize into an Elsa popsicle. Kind of like we should see with this.
It's like when it's like this, when a certain amount of force is exerted onto the bottle of water, it suddenly becomes ice. So that's what the science here is. It's like a force exerted into while she's dropping. This force from the momentum that when she drops, she becomes ice. Suddenly becomes ice, like bang, she's ice, because the momentum, and then it suddenly stops. That's the force exerted, and then it goes up to her body and she freezes. So that's the science of this. I never knew that the freezing of Elsa would connect to the water bottle life hack tricks and tips and stuffs. But here it is.
Dan, ready, Chris? It's gonna land right here. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And you see it, it's going!
It's hard to see, don't worry. We do it again in a few seconds and it looks a lot better. I mean, why did Matt Pat use a yellow bottle? Is that a yellow? No, it's not a yellow bottle. Why did he use a yellow liquid and not just water? Pretty sure that's a yellow liquid, but the top is clear. So why did he use a yellow liquid than like water so it's better to see? I don't know.
It's going. What you're seeing here are water molecules suddenly
I can't see it. It looks exactly the same.
colliding into each other. A little seed crystal at the top and all the water molecules hitting into it and glomming on, crystallizing into that structure, proceeding all the way down into the bottle until now you have mostly ice with a little bit of water left over. How much? Not a whole lot. Okay, a little bit more than I expected. But you can see that as soon as there was a big impact on that bottle, disturbing the super chilled water inside of it, I expected. But you can see that as soon as there was a big impact on that bottle, disturbing the super chilled water inside of it, the entire thing crystallized from the top.
Yeah, it's like Elsa. When she hits the ground, bang, force exerted, goes through her body, and then she's frozen to death. But as the plot goes, she's still alive.
Down to the bottom. Now, this happened because when the bottle dropped onto the table, it sent a shock wave through the liquid, literally forcing water molecules to bump into each other. Through randomness, that extra movement eventually results in water molecules forming something close to the crystal structure of ice. Once that happens, the water suddenly has the seed crystals that it needs, and now more water molecules quickly bump into that seed crystal and align themselves into the proper structure, locking in and freezing almost instantly. In Elsa's case in Frozen 2, we see the crystallization, or nucleation process as it's called, start from her extremities, right? Her feet and her fingertips, where she landed on the ground. But if we were really being scientifically accurate, it would actually start from the top of her head, because that is the end of the shock wave that she experienced from falling. That said, this experiment still provides the best explanation that we have about how an ice queen could freeze to death. She's not a human who controls.
I mean, this experiment, I'm just talking about, this experiment is, do people actually do it? Because I don't want to do it. It's probably pretty easy, but I don't want to do it because it looks so super hard. Because I've got to keep check on it, and then, yeah. So, and then it's just an really satisfying video, then just going on the internet and just watching people do it. So, anyone actually do that experiment? Because I don't. I'll probably never will, unless I make the science experiment video talking about science experiments, and that's definitely gonna be one of the science experiments. But Kappa is here. Kappa is around. This is, I don't know about Kappa. Is this video made for children? Do I need, I don't know. One of my videos was Kappa. I don't know if you say it, but it was set to made for kids, and I'm pretty sure I don't know what to do about it. But a lot of my videos are not set to made for kids, which that's good. So, yeah. Do people actually do this? Put it in the comments below. I don't know why I'm asking this, but do people actually do that science experiment bottle trick where it does that? Because I'm pretty sure people don't. Pretty sure.
Ice at a molecular level, she actually is ice herself. In a very roundabout way, this explanation also helps us understand why Elsa is impervious to cold climates, cold air, heck, even brutal wind chills. At a molecular level, Elsa is effectively colder than all of those things. She is super cool, meaning that they're not cooling her, she is the one that's cooling them. It's science, it's Frozen, and it is super cool. Literally and figuratively. Fascinatingly, even understanding that Elsa's body functions like a supercooled liquid, it still doesn't give us a true sense of her molecular temperature. According to a 2018 study at the University of Frankfurt in Germany, supercooled water can reach temperatures of negative 42.55
degrees Celsius? How cold is that? I need I need a thing that says how cold is that, because I can't really take that to account because it's 42.55 degrees Celsius. All I know about it is that it's lower than freezing temperature, and I don't really know how to take that into account on comparisons on how cold things are, but I'm thinking that's very, very, very cold for water.
5 degrees Celsius, or negative 44 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning that Elsa has the potential to achieve a massive range of temperatures that would allow her to not only survive the harshest conditions on Earth, but even survive in some places on freezing planets like Mars. And all of this actually makes sense in the context.
She can survive on Mars. Can Disney just get Frozen 3 but in space, where Elsa is in Mars and Anna is still on Earth or maybe dead because she can't live on Mars because it's freezing. So, yeah.
Context of the movie, for as convoluted as its lore is. Just like the earth giants are made of rock, the wind spirit is literally just wind, and the water horse is water, just ignore that dumb little cute fire lizard, Elsa is made up of the element that she controls. If she truly is the fifth elemental creature, which honestly she shouldn't be because ice isn't an element that's different from water horse over there, but still, if ice truly is a different element in this world, her being super cooled and only freezing from a landing that strikes hard makes perfect sense. So, in an ironic twist, Elsa truly is impervious to cold, as long as she doesn't get smacked too hard by anything. For future reference to all the villains in the inevitable Frozen 3, skip all the swords or guns or flamethrowers or whatever, and just give...
Okay, so Frozen 3 is gonna happen. I'm probably not gonna watch Frozen 3, or it's probably gonna come out like 2025 or something, because the first movie was 2013, and that movie made a lot of money. And then out of merchandising, it made a lot more. So, why did it take so long? It took 6 years for them to make another one, which it was too long because it's one of their highest grossing films. It's also one of their highest grossing films by merchandise. So why don't they make another movie? It takes them 6 years. They made Toy Story 4 before Frozen 2. So, yeah, it's probably gonna happen in more recently, like 2022, 2023, or are they gonna follow the same path to go to and go to 2025 till it comes out, Frozen 3 comes out? But yeah, I'm stretching this video way too long.
Elsa a good old thwomp with a frying pan, Tangled style. Or get into a particularly aggressive pillow fight, and frankly, she is done for. Don't tell anyone I tipped you off, though, because if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you'll know that Mickey Mouse and I already have ourselves a, chilly relationship. Yeah. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And this island that I cannot pronounce, nor can I find any online pronunciation guide because it's just really hard to find pronunciations for very small areas. Can I just say first, sorry, cut the video. All you travel logs on YouTube right now, why do you not talk in them? There are so many Norwegian travel logs that I've clicked on as I research this video, hoping that someone will teach me how to pronounce the names of these places. And all of them are just clips set to music with moderate amounts of text on top.
10 best places to visit in Norway. Travel video.
It's not helping me. Please teach me how to pronounce these places.
They probably don't even know how to pronounce it. So they're just saying, oh no, I'm not gonna pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try to, because it's probably gonna disrespect Norway. No, the Norwegians out there. But if there are any Norwegians, tell me, is there anything that says how it's pronounced? Let's see. So my internet is not working, so yeah, I'm just gonna see how do you pronounce what it was. Alright, so I found the video how to pronounce it's hard to pronounce in Norwegian. Alright, let's see this.
This is how you pronounce it. Sørfugløya.
What did he say? Sørfugløya. What did he say?
This is how you pronounce it. Sørfugløya.
Sørfugløya. Why does it sound like...
This is how you pronounce it. Sørfugløya.
Sørfugløya. Why does it sound like... It sounds like Chinese or Korean or Japanese. Sorry. but it just sounds
This
like
is how
Chinese.
you pronounce it.
Does it sound like Chinese?
Surfulaya.
It sounds like Surfulaya. Surfulaya. Why does it sound like Chinese? It's
This is how you pronounce it. Surfulaya.
Surfugluya. Surfugluya. So now I know how to pronounce it. It's Surfugluya. So, yeah.
Not even Wikipedia has a pronunciation guide for this one. Sorfuglioa. I mean, look at these letters.
Surfugluya. It's now Surfugluya. Great for the film theorists to help, for the Norwegian film theorists to help that pad on this one. Surfugluya.
What am I supposed to do with this? It's a 0. It's an O that's been crossed out. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no thank you, O. This is a no pronunciation O. And G's, who even puts a G there? Sorfugloa.
Yeah.
Sorfugloa. Can someone
Yeah.
watching this video in Norway,
The O like thing is like a U. So Surfugluya.
can you please upload videos of you pronouncing Sorfugloa and then link them to me on Twitter,
Sorfugloa.
MattPatGT, or in the Game Theorists subreddit, and I will try to make a greatest hits compilation of all of them. We'll do a community tab post or something of it. That'd be great. Please teach me how to pronounce Sorfuglia. Cut.
Surfugluya. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, and I stretched an 18-minute video into 30 minutes of just me reacting to a video. And I stretched it out, it's just 12 minutes of me talking. How is that possible? But now I'm making my videos longer and probably less watch time, because when people see a 31-minute video, they're not just gonna click on it because it's long. I mean, do you guys have 31 minutes to spare? If you got to the end of this video, which you probably, come on, watch the full video. If you watch the full video, like and subscribe. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, and of course, peace. I'll be back. Peace.